Ma'am, can you hear me? Ramya, ma'am?
Yeah, I can hear you. What about you?
Yeah, I could hear you also.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
So, are we expecting some more people to join?
ma'am, can you repeat?
Yeah, are we expecting some more people to join?
No, ma'am. I'll just ask my colleague to introduce you and we'll start the session.
Sure. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Hello, good morning everyone. We welcome back you to the workshop on design thinking, critical thinking and innovation design. So today I'll welcome the first speaker, Ramya Vijay. Welcome you ma'am. A brief introduction regarding the speaker. Ramya S. Vijay Kumar. She has completed her BE in Computer Science Engineering and she has finished her management studies on entrepreneurship from Indian School of Business. She has worked in several industries, including Cognizant, HCL, and she was also the CEO of Dine Bus and Social Pandora. Currently, she is an e-commerce specialist at Amazon. We welcome you, ma'am, and I'll hand over the session to madam for the continuation. Thank you, madam.
Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. And good morning. I'm Ramaiah Vijay Kumar, and I'm very happy to address the young engineers on this topic, design thinking, because I strongly believe that engineers are born for innovation and the design thinking concepts are the core part of innovation. When you start thinking creatively, when you start thinking in the design perspective, then innovation arises. So we engineers should be proud uh, to have been having the skill to innovate. So we should not restrict ourselves with just doing the routine jobs, whichever we get into once we finish our degrees. So we should be having that thirst to innovate. So with that note, I always wanted the engineers to have that pride that we can innovate. So every nation is built on innovation, right? Every nation grows when they innovate more. So that pride we should have as engineers, and we should always think in the perspective of innovating. Innovation means, like, what I mean is not a big rocket science or something. Like, even in your society where you live, in the communities, there are so many things where you can change. You can make a small difference. You can give a small convenience, even if it's going to be a garbage segregation, or having clean communities, or whatever it is. Like, yeah, small innovation leads to a great change. So you always have that fire within you to keep innovating and keep having a design perspective. So I hope this session will help you, at least uh, like will be the starting point for that. So if at least one of you starts thinking in that perspective, I'll be really happy after this session. And I just wanted to have this session more interesting rather than being a lecture or something like that. I don't want to bore you. So, and also I encourage more questions. I would like to have the presentation shared with me so that I can
Yes,
start.
ma'am. Just one instruction to the students before that. Sorry to interrupt you. Dear students, I request you to not chat unnecessarily in the chat box. And if we find that unnecessary chat is there, we would penalize the people. And I'm repeating to you, anyone who is going to chat unnecessarily, you will be removed off the meeting and penalized later on. And also, listen to the, I hope you enjoy the session. At the end of the session, we will have all the question and answers together. The question and questions that you have can be put to the question answer tab. And at the end of the session, our speaker would address those questions. And just to make it a little bit more interesting, the best question will get a diary silk, right? So make sure that you type your question from your own chat box. And over to you, ma'am. I'll share the presentation now. I've shared the presentation. Can you see, ma'am?
Yeah, I am able to see it.
Yeah.
So to start with, what is design thinking? Is it a new concept that was discovered or invented during this technological era or something like that? No. So design thinking has been in humans from the day when the human evolved. So that's how I want to say it. It's not a new concept or new theory that's like being around with us. It's from the day when we started our when the humans evolved. Because why I'm saying is I should not I want you not to have some the perspective of design thinking to be something new in this technological era, nothing like that. Say when humans evolved, the design thinking concept started as he faced pains and problems to survive, to have food, to travel. So all these things were problem when humans evolved. So he wanted to rescue from the wild animals when he stayed in the forest. So to rescue himself from the wild animals, he invented fire just with 2 stones. That is a design thinking, like where he invented that a fire will make him safe from the wild animals in the forest so that he can survive. The pain point here is for him to survive, at least to have his life running without getting eaten by the animals, right? So so he invented the fire. Then he invented this, the same fire can be used to cook his food when he was eating raw meats, and after hunting the animals, when he was eating like an animal, like he found that he can cook using this fire. So he found another usage. He went to the next version of usage of fire. So he went to the next level and he used the fire to cook the food. And now we also use, now in today's world also we use fire, but we don't use the same fire for protecting ourselves from the wild animals, because we move to cities, we move to towns where there is no wild animals. So the usage is changed to something else. We are using for different aspects in life. We are using the fire for different usages in the life. So that's how it's no more relevant in that aspect. So that is the way, the usage and the user behavior and the way the user lives, the user needs changes, the innovation also changes. Mankind is benefited, gifted with thinking accordingly, according to the change of the lifestyle, and adapt to the lifestyle with this thinking capacity. So leveraging the brain power. So that is the design thinking. When you constantly think according to the changes happen in your lifestyle, new ideas, new products, and new prototypes evolve. So that is the design thinking, to put it in simple. So once all these basic needs, all these things are satisfied. One second, let me go to the next slide. So yeah. So today we are going to, agenda for today's session is like how to generate ideas using design thinking, and what are the practical applications where we can, we can generate ideas. We know now, like we can generate ideas using design thinking, how we can practically apply. So half of the time, like we learn theory things in our curriculum and we don't know where to implement it. So we leave it there and go to the next thing, whatever we learn newly. But design thinking is an area where you can implement it in practical applications in every other industry. So what are the practical applications, which industries we can apply? So that few examples we can see. and also the tools. Okay, how to generate ideas, how to implement it, how to evaluate it, what are the tools we need to use. So these are the things we can see in this session. I just wanted to give the basics because the full week you are going to handle with the design thinking. So many other experts of the industries is going to share their own knowledge. So I just wanted to open you up with all these basics so that you can grasp all the coming sessions with a better basic knowledge. So this is the famous quote of Albert Einstein. We cannot solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them, right? When we create something, today we are having cars which are driven by drivers, right? We have gears, we have gearless, like automatic gear cars and all those things, right? Today, now I should not tell today, like maybe like some years back, we had all these things, only these things. So at that time, we never thought like we can have a driverless car. We thought how tragic it will be like when there is a car running without a driver. But now it has become a true thing. Like it has been implemented. One person thought like how it will be like having a car without drivers, because he would have faced the pain of having a driver, hiring a driver or finding a right driver, safe driver, so many things, the common problems of many people. So he came to an idea of like how about having a car without a driver. Thus Tesla born, right? So we should not think how is it possible. We should not have any preconceived notions. Is it whether possible to have a driverless car? He is mad. So that's how we would have thought some decade ago. But now it's happening, right? So when the car with drivers has been invented, they would have never thought this way. This way the cars will be getting evolved. So it's not the same kind of thinking. It will be like because the customer's behavior, the technology, everything changes. So we have to progressively think. So that's what the earlier stages gets evolved to the next version. So next we can go. Yeah. So that, as I told, the design thinking is never invented. It was popularized. Design thinking was like there with us when we were evolving as humans. So it was popularized by David M. Kelly and Tim Brown of IDEO. Like so, they were like popularizing the concept of design thinking in industries, manufacturing industries, automobile industries. Like they saw the relevance of design thinking to create a revolution in many industries. So the one line, if we want to tell about design thinking, is what customers want, but they don't have now. If you think in this line, you are in the process of design thinking. So this is the one line definition of design thinking. Customers here can be any beneficiaries. It's not that it should be a business, it should be a product or service. It can be a communal cause, like a community-based cause, social cause, or it can be a service-oriented thing. Anything, whoever is a beneficiary is treated here as a customer, and what they want, but they don't have now. So when you able to zero in on this thing, then there comes a design thinking pattern, right? So if I'm going a little bit like fast, like you let me know, like I'll slow it down. And so before we begin, how do you approach problems generally? Don't think in a very high level technological level. When you have some problem, day-to-day routines, you have problems, how do you approach that problem first? So you can answer this poll. Which is your first priority, second priority, and third priority? So I'll give you 1 second time so that you can. Done?
They're doing, ma'am. Just one
Okay.
more minute.
Done? Right. So user-centric, cost-centric, and technology-centric. Here, 77% of you guys have replied user-centric, and 12 for cost-centric, and technology-centric 11%. That is first priority, user-centric. And 16% has said like user-centric is the third priority, and 8% as the third priority and second priority. Fine. So all these three things are very important for design thinking, but you think on your own. When you come up with a solution, okay, which you consider cost, that is the budgeting, and the latest technology you are applying, and coming up with a solution without considering the user requirement or user need, then will it be useful, or will it be implemented and have a successful reach? Definitely no, right? So cost budgeting and technology, though very important, the user centric, the need of the user is the center, the core part of designing any solutions, thinking of any solutions. What is the user, what is the problem the user face, what is the need of the user, what does he expect in the future version which doesn't exist in the current version. So these are the things you have to evaluate and build your solution around that, with other factors like cost, technology, and environment, all those things keeping in your mind. You should start designing the solutions. So always have the user in the middle core of your design thinking solutions. So this is a small example I wanted to share with you guys, to show you like what are the different ways like we can use design thinking to initially, like when the man like wanted to reach a hilltop, he was climbing the hill through the tough terrains and rocks and reaching the top. So he thought like, why not I have a step like of thing carved in the hill till the hilltop, so that if I do it for one time, all my generations can use that steps to reach the hilltop. So he, with all the efforts, he built something like this. He carved the rock and created step-like structures, and it was a basic need for him to find a food or to rescue himself or to hunt, whatever it is. So that was a basic need. He came up with this design after giving a thought to that need. And once his basic need was satisfied, he's going to the next level. He's not stopping there. That is the beauty of the humans. We will never stop. Only thing where my mom used to tell, like, only thing where the human gets satisfied is like the food, because you cannot take more than what your stomach needs, right? So that is a way, or that is the only area we tell it's enough. So rest of the things we will never say enough. That is the beauty of the human brain. That is how we have been designed to. So that's what, like, the next step, he wanted some convenience, because only one person can take the steps at a time. So many people has to take a step at a time, and some convenience, because it was very hard, rocky, and so he wanted some convenience. So he built using he invented cements, bricks, and all those things, and used those mud or whatever it is, and built some proper steps, like with smooth texture or surface, so that more people can easily reach the hilltop. So next, the basic need, convenience, both the things were satisfied. Then he wants some comfort. See, I cannot waste my time climbing the steps, or I cannot, I have some knee pain or something. I cannot climb the step and reach the top. Or within my house, I wanted to raise another floor. So how can I reach that floor? So all these things, he doesn't want the step. He wants the comfort. So he invented the lift where he can go, just stand, and the lift carries him and puts him to the floor wherever he wants. So that was the comfort. So once he reached the comfort, this guy doesn't want to stop there. He wanted luxury. So again, it started. So he wanted, like in the lift, only 4 or up to 6 or 8, based on the size of the lift, only these number of people can go at one time, right? So he wanted luxury where many people can travel at a time. So he wanted the escalator. He invented the escalator where in foreign countries and all, there will be huge, lengthier escalators where even 500,000 people can stand in the steps and travel. So that kind of escalators were invented. And now it was a luxury for him because the comfort is the lift. But now the luxury. So he moved to the luxury and he invented the escalator and used it. Okay. So next came, can you please, like after this, like you can play the video. Now the luxury came and also the health issues also came to him. So now many people have started having diabetes, BP without any physical work, and so many health conditions arise. So people again wanted to come back to the steps. So we can see a video. I just wanted to like not having a boring session. So I just wanted to see, like when you go to the next version, you need design thinking to come back to the older version also. For that also you need a design thinking. That is shown very beautifully in this video. Let's watch that video. Can you share that video? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can switch back to the presentation. So that's the, if you would have seen, like design thinking is a versatile concept where you can create transformations from any stage to any stage. How beautifully that basic need has been converted to luxury, and the luxury has been brought back to the stage 2, where it was very mandatory. Now it has become mandatory to address the health issues, right? But right, people when say like take steps, whenever you go avoid lift, people are not doing that. But when you introduce a fun element, which makes the people to notice and get used to that, then obviously the change happens, right? So change is the only thing which is not going to stop or change. So that change, if you want to bring in anything, then design thinking is the way to go. Design thinking, you will not believe, it is used in artificial intelligence, it is used in data science, it's used in machine language, it's used in NLP. So all these things are tied together, which are the latest technologies. The latest technologies going forward in the next 20 years will not only require the technology, coding, programming. No, it is, everything is going to be based on human behavior, human psychology. You know, like but the 21st century is 21. That book that says like the human brains can be hacked to know like what their behavior is, what they like, what they don't like, what they want, what kind of person is that, what is the buying pattern, all those things can be hacked in next 50 years. Around 2050, they will be definitely doing that. So this design thinking patterns is one of the concepts which is very influential in all these latest technologies. And when you go out as an engineer from any branch, I'm not just restricting it to the computer science. When you go to the EC, when you are a mechanical engineer, or when you are an instrumentation engineer, whatever core area you have, when you start implementing design thinking concepts in your core area, you will be an innovator, or you will be standing out of the crowd. To tell you, like, you will be definitely standing out of the crowd, and you will not be a regular person who is doing whatever tasks assigned to you. So I want to stress this point so that you know the importance of design thinking, right? So what is design thinking? Ma'am, you are telling like, okay, design thinking is this much valuable, that much valuable, this much old. So what is that? What is it going to, what it is all about? So it's like leveraging the power of your mind. So you leverage the power of your mind and your creativity thinking. Every person, every human being is having a creative side, creative brain, and you activate that part of your brain with boundaryless thinking. So you don't put any boundaries. If you have a problem and you want a solution, don't restrict your say if you want to reach Chennai from Bangalore, let's say, and you have either bus transportation, or you have flight, or you have train, all these transportations, and car, your own car, right? But in one fine day, you want to come to Chennai in emergency case, and you don't find any of these options available. You don't have tickets either in the flight or in that short notice. You don't find a ticket in the bus or train, or you don't have a driver to drive your car. So you think like all the options are out for me. What will I do? How can I reach Chennai? Yeah, there is maybe, like, if you think without any boundaries, you can think of carpooling. You can approach, there is social media where you can approach people who are traveling from Bangalore to Chennai and ask for a carpooling kind of thing, so that you can reach Chennai in case of an emergency. So you don't restrict. It's just it may be a very simple thing you are already doing, but I'm just giving you a relevant example so that you can connect to it. The boundaryless thinking. You don't set boundaries. These are the only ways. Car, flight, train, and these are the only ways I can reach Chennai. If you put a boundary, then you will not think about the carpooling, right? So you have, without any boundaries, without any fear of failures or any pre-assumptions, you don't have anything. Without anything, you just enjoy the learning experience, enjoy learning the process, so that you come up with new ideas which others have not yet arrived at. And you should shift your thinking process. It will not come in one day. You should shift your thinking process to create the transformation. You should not stand in the place of an innovator. You should stand in the place of an end user. So what the end user needs, if you are thinking for a solution for a product design, then you should think in the user perspective. You should not think in the manufacturer perspective or the designer perspective. No, what the user will expect in this product, what are the problems you will be facing. So you'll be seeing some examples in the next part of the sessions, next slides, coming slides. So then you will be able to relate to it. Then human centric, it should be always, as I said, the customer centric or human centric, whatever way words you use, it should be having the humans as the center part and putting yourself in the customer's shoe, so that you can design from their perspective and their pains, so that you can address that. So we have certain procedures. So empathize, ideate, first empathize with the customer's problems. So the design thinking approach is first starts with the customer, as humans are the center point, and you empathize with the customer, what they need, what are the current problem they are facing, and you need to define their problem. You have to immerse in their scenario, immerse in that scenario. So to like come up with this, understand that problem first. Without understanding the problem, intensity of the problem, you cannot definitely come up with a solution which is going to be solving their problem. So you have to identify your stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? Say I'm giving you an example of your college. Okay, pre-COVID times you used to travel to the college and attend the classes, right? So at the time, from the starting to the college, coming inside the college is one section of the journey. Okay, that is outside the college. Okay, while you are entering the campus and you are in the campus and leaving the campus, within the campus you have lots of activities going on, like lab sessions, workshops, classroom sessions, theory classes, and some paper presentations and cultural activities. So many things are happening, right? So what are the problems you face, and you think if it is there in the classroom, it will be nice. If it is presented in this way, it will be nice. The real problems, I'm not telling about the fantasy, or maybe you will think like a smart board, or I'm not telling you like you should only think about the serious problems. Even the restrooms, whatever it is, you may think like if it is done in this way, or if it is available, it will be really good. Like that, you have some expectations, right? How your future classrooms should be there, how your future labs should be there. So down the line, 10 years or 20 years, how your auditorium should be there. Like now there are so many concepts like metaverse and all those things, how you can conduct cultural activities using those. So these kind of expectations, or these kind of moving towards the progressive next generation, next evaluation. Who are the stakeholders? You, the students, the management, the lecturers, principal, and even the non-teaching staffs. And who are all these people are stakeholders, because a change that is going to happen inside your classroom is going to be impacted with all these people. So these are the stakeholders. You have to identify the stakeholders and build their persona. It's like the marketing, they tell it as building your customer persona. It's nothing but you give an avatar to them. Like you are, I think you all would have been playing online games and all those things. So you give an avatar to your customer, ideal customer. It can be many more avatars. Like, so you can define them. What is their age group? What is their gender? What is their occupation? What is their whether they stay within the college campus or outside the hostels or day scholars. So you can build a persona, different personas, and you can identify each persona's problems using the personal dialogues with the group of these stakeholders, conducting surveys, and creating some value chain maps. So that is the end. But before that, you have to interact with them using group interviews, surveys, or polls, whatever we conducted now, like that. or having a close interaction with them, and having, if say there is a cleaning staff in the college, and we keep on putting, we don't segregate the garbage and put everything in one thing. And if the government mandates that whatever garbage comes out of the college should be segregated, it's a pain point on the cleaning staff, right? So you be with them one day, and undergo the process of segregating. Then you will understand the pain points. Then you will come up with a solution how to segregate the garbage while it is thrown into the bin itself, right? So these are the, you have to immerse in that problem, immerse in that pain point to understand the nooks and corners of the pain, right? Then you can come up with a solution. So you have to, before coming up, you have to define the problem, right? Define the problem rightly. That is a very crucial stage. If you don't understand the problem, you will not define it correctly, then you cannot come up with a correct solution. So for defining, even defining the problem, you have to empathize with the customer. You have to stand in their place and understand what is the real struggles they are facing in their day-to-day work. Even as a student, you may not be able to clearly see the board, which is not a smart board, or you cannot, you may have certain issues, ergonomic issues in the tables, sitting tables, benches. So many things are there, right? So you can you very well understand these pain points rather than it is understood by the management, because they are not using the chairs or the study tables, right? So each stakeholder will have their own problems and pains. So you have to identify that and collate that and check for the feasibility, which certain things may not be feasible immediately, or due to the costing or budget, whatever it is. So check the feasibility of these problems, shortlist that, and find out a solution how to implement it. So that's the design thinking process. So the first step in that approach is empathizing with the customer, defining the problem, and ideating the solutions. Ideating the solutions is the idea generation step. And after, once you ideate the solution, then you can trial and test the solution using a prototype, what we call as piloting, or minimum viable product. With less investment and less trial thing, we can implement it with a few real-time users and test it and fine-tune it. So this is the design thinking approach, how we, these are the 4 steps we use for implementing the design thinking. So most of the companies, as I said before itself, I told, all the today's technology companies like AI companies, machine learning companies, whether it's a manufacturing, automobile companies, or sports accessories companies, most 82% of the companies are using design thinking approach, right? So this becomes mandatory to come up with business ideas, to evolve into to come up with new products and keep the business going. So if you are aiming to become an entrepreneur in future also, this is very important. That is the going forward, that is going to be the way. And certain companies, they don't still, I'm not telling all the 100% companies are adopting. Still, there are conservative orthodox companies which they play in safe mode. They think these things are not needed for us. We are well-established brand. But one thing, keep it in mind, like those who are not getting updated will get vanished as the days goes. So they will become not relevant, irrelevant business, which is not needed anymore. There are so many examples I can give, but this session is about design thinking, so that will be out of scope for this. But there are so many companies which became irrelevant as they didn't adapt themselves along with the technology and the latest concepts. So this is some weird design. If you can see, like some examples of some bad, weird designs. So if you see the first one, the fire exit only. So that is already it's a fire exit, and they say like, please close this door quietly as guests will be sleeping. So already that will be opened only for when there is a fire. Then what is the need for, like, we have to alert all the people, they need not sleep quietly, right? So this kind of designs are very weird. And the next one, when you see, like we just it's a form like where we fill the employee ID and date of birth, but they have given now itself like 2061, 62, 63. So whoever not born, so employee can be only after he is born, right? So here they need not be futuristic. It's just a drop down menu. They can add all these years later on as the year comes, right? So here being futuristic is absurd. So you can go to the next slide. And this one, you would have all faced. All those things also may be relevant, but here, the WhatsApp design, it's a very weird design. Like the thing why somebody deletes a message is he doesn't want it to be tracked in the screen, right? Then it clearly tells like you deleted this message. So what's the point in making this design in the UI? There is nothing, right? So this UI UX design is like absurd. It's not at all relevant. The purpose, it's not solving the purpose of deleting a message. Yeah. And this one, if you see, if you would have all of you would have got these two products, used these two products, I believe. One is a bottle. Then the customer, even though the customer may not have complained, because they wouldn't have thought like, yeah, usually the ketchup comes in a bottle, right? But the design thinking team of the creative team of the company, the business would have thought, okay, transporting the bottles break. And also it's a very huge headache for the customer to take out the ketchup from the bottle. And also in the bottom of the bottle, some ketchups are also getting wasted. So all these problems, and moreover, cost wise also, the packaging becomes maybe becoming a little more costlier. So they came up with a solution to delight the customers. So they came up with this ketchup in the squeezing thing. So this solved all the problems that are faced by the customer. So though even the customer is not pointing out the problems in your current product, you should think in their shoes. That's what I said. You should think in their shoes using your product and find out what may delight the customer more, what may value add to the customer more. That is the value chain map, right? For the existing product, how can you add more value with the current price? And for that value addition, if you charge more also, people will be ready to buy so that your profits increase, right? So that is how you should think to increase the unit price of your product and brand image of your product. All those things will be enhanced when you start thinking in that way. This is a very small change. As I said, it's not a very technological change, or it is not a change with the real product of the ketchup, right? It's a change in the packaging, just the packaging. But it gives the customer a delight when he is using the product. And the 5 main factors that influence the design thinking, which is the holistic and deep observation. You cannot just like that throw an idea, throw a thought until it's a it is a design we can change and this will. So you have to consider all the areas, holistic approach. You consider the stakeholders, you consider the transportation, logistics, you consider the environment, you consider the government regulations. So you have to consider holistically. You should think about when you are arriving at a solution. And also a deep observation is needed in the behavior of the customers. So you have to observe. Say you are designing an app, okay? You are designing an app for a fitness thing. And when you observe your customer, when you ask your customer to install an app and track his workout sessions, he may not be interested. He may not, he will download the app, log in, create a login, and he may track for 1 or 2 days and then stop it, or 1 week maximum, then he might stop it. Why he is doing that? He doesn't have any motivation to continue that, right? So what stops him? That deep observation should be done. Then you create a small group. There are apps where the known friend circle join a group, and known or unknown friends, they join a group and they motivate each other to complete 10K miles, 5K miles, so that they push each other. They become accountable to each other. So that psychological push, or somebody I am accountable to, that one was missing in the previous version of the app. And when they found out and implemented that in this version, then the number of downloads, active users, and active tracking, everything increased in that app, right? So you have to deeply observe. It's not a bigger change of design, right? Just they made the existing users form a group and motivate each other or be accountable to each other. So there is nothing changed, but they understood the psychological factor which stops them to continue the tracking. So that they found out and made a small change which resulted in the desired result. So next, the questioning. For after observing the facts, you note down all the facts and question yourself. Question with your team. Question the group. Question the customer. So you question yourself, what stops? What stops doing this? What is the hindrance? What is the bottleneck? Or what will motivate them to do the things? So when you start questioning, when you bring out n number of questions, don't think whether it's a relevant or irrelevant question initially, because you never know which becomes the relevant point, right? And deep listening. Listening is different. Deep listening is different. When you just give your ears and don't give your mind, it's just hearing. It's not listening, right? When you actively listen, when you give your mind also to listen to the points, what the opposite person tells or what your teammates tell, then it becomes a deep listening. The points and all the discussion points go into your mind, and that gives you a spark of what may be the solution. And converse with them without being judgmental, and brainstorm different ideas from different categories. Maybe with the same example of the fitness app, maybe like you can brainstorm with different categories, different age group of the users, and the fitness experts like the trainers, and the business like MBA or people who have done the business, who understand the psychology of the customers. So you can create different groups of experts, different groups of touch points, and brainstorm with them to have a clear idea. The next step. So when you all do this, like there are only 3 rules for design thinking, right? You apply these 3 rules. Less is more. Don't think too big. Okay. Try to keep it simple as possible. First, think for simple solutions. How you can achieve it through simple solutions, less effort solutions, so that it can be implemented. Complicated solutions can be ideated, but when it comes to implementation, it gets stuck due to various factors, as I said, cost, technology, geographical condition, environmental conditions, so many things are there. But when you think simple solutions, it can be implemented easily. So less is more here. And prioritize. And you may have some 5 problems. Okay. Prioritize which is first important problem, and second important, third important. And the third rule is last 2 is the 200%. Definitely you'll be knowing because as your students, how important it is to score the 2 marks. Because the people who score 98 will be thousands of people, but who score 100 will be very few, right? that 2% matters. The last 2%, the effort you put to achieve that last 2% is very, very important. That makes you stand out. Putting the effort for 98%, thousands of people doing and thousands of people achieving it. But the last 2% effort, what people are, that extra effort, what people are putting is really crucial. And those people only achieve the 100%, right? So the end of the implementation, ideation, after that implementation, so that is very crucial. So less is more, and prioritize your pains and problems and find the solutions based on the priority. And till the end, you put all your efforts to implement it. And the practical applications. So the practical applications here is like, again, I told, like all these things I covered in the previous slides, I believe. Identifying your stakeholders and empathize with them, research and state your users' needs and problems. And based on that, you brainstorm, immerse in the situation, and come up with ideas. And sticky notes, mind maps are the tools which are used to collate all these ideas. Because during the brainstorm, you get so many ideas. So to jot it down, sticky notes is one of the tools, and mind map is another format of tools. Mind map, I think you all will be knowing. I think you'll be doing projects and all those things. So you may be doing the mind maps and all those things. So you can Google it also. There are so many templates. So these are the tools which are used to, resources used to evaluate that idea and take it into the next level. So this is some of the tools, as I said, customer journey mapping, that I have an example in the next slide. And empathy maps. Empathy maps is nothing but when you understand your customer, you can do expansive thinking, not restrict yourself into the limited thinking. You can do a expansive thinking when you understand your customer better. And also the value chain analysis. What you should always be aiming at, what to give more, what to value add to the existing product. That value chain analysis helps the businesses or whatever the projects you take up to grow to the next level. How much value I can add in the full journey of the customer. And storyboard creation. Storyboard creation is nothing but initially it was hand drawn. Actually, every stage, you may know, like usually it is used in the filmmaking. So every scenario, every scene or every frame is sketched. So this is the setup in this scene. This is the setup here. From here, the group team goes there. So if you are cleaning a community, say like if you are cleaning a beach, so you are going to gather in one place. From there, you divide it to small groups, and you have garbage bags, or you go to the different, all the parts of the beach, you divide among yourselves, and then you collect the green waste, degradable, biodegradable, non-degradable waste in separate groups. You'll be doing that. So you sketch all these things and how it is segregated. So all these things you will be sketching it out for creating a proper plan of this community work, which will be implemented even when you are not there. The team changes, the team gets replaced. This storyboard will help them to jump into the action immediately without any wastage of time or reinventing the cycle. So storyboard creation helps in different projects. Even when you come up with a product, like say Apple iPhone, the next version. So how they come up with the next version? They empathize with the customer. They get the inputs from the customer, what the customer feels from the current iPhone version, what are the features they feel if it is there, it will be even more nice. Even now version iOS 14 version has stopped, restricted the social media to track the users. So that is a very very much appreciated by the iPhone users, because they are tracked with their location, priority, buying patterns, everything by these social media like Facebook, Twitter, and accordingly they are advertised. So that has been restricted in the iOS 14 version because the customers, the elite customers felt the pain point that they are being tracked always. They don't have the privacy, and that has been addressed in the iOS 14 version, which is a blow for the Facebook. But still, the customers, the Apple customers are happy, and the elite customers will buy Apple phones just because for this privacy and non-intrusion, right? So that is how they come up with the empathizing the customer, their pain points. They add value to that product and release it as the next version so that they get that more customer base and create more businesses, and also at the same time they delight the customer. So it should be in every aspect, every product, every software product or software applications, or either you are building a electrical board or whatever it is, you have to keep the mind of the user, how it will be adding value to him. Yeah. So this, I think you can, I have already covered this, empathizing, you can go back. Yeah. This is empathizing phase, like how here customer, I just wanted to show you a sample of customer journey map. So here there are different touch points. When a customer, when a person wants to buy a mobile phone, when he wants to order a mobile phone, first he goes and checks, he plans to buy a new phone and to replace the old one, right? So he may be wanting some exchange offer to exchange the old one. And what is the best pricing? What is the latest model? What is the latest iOS? Sorry, what is the latest OS, or what are the latest features, even if it is an Android or iOS, whatever it is, and which website gives for the best rates, and what is the number of days it takes to deliver, whether he can buy on physical stores or in the online mode. So he will analyze all these things. So first awareness and his preference, and then based on all this analysis input, he has some consideration. Maybe he will shortlist few of them or a couple of them, and then decide on one thing and order that, right? So in this each stage, you may face some problems or pain points. So we have to identify, as a design thinker, we have to identify that and address that. So when creating awareness, say you are having some X brand of phone, you are the owner of some X brand of mobile phone. When a customer like this wants to buy a new phone, he will go to the web and search, or he will go to the social media groups or WhatsApp groups and ask for his peer reviews. So those areas you should be able to be available as a brand. You should be available in those areas. Your customers should be able to give a testimonial for your brand, or your website. When he searches, your website should be ranking in the Google first. And when he searches in the banner ads, excuse me, banner ads, you should be available sponsoring the digital campaign ads in that, right? So you should be available. If you are not available, your competitor will be available there, and he will grab the business. And next, the preferences, whether he able to buy, what is his preference? He prefers through through online. So online, either it can be your own e-commerce website or Amazon, or you're available in both the areas. If you're not in Amazon, then he may not prefer you, because return policies may become very difficult for him and all those things, right? So there is a pain point. You should analyze that, okay, I should have my own e-commerce site and I should be available in Amazon and other marketplaces also, right? So you should understand that pain point and address that. And next, the considerations. So he may consider the similar configuration phones, the pricing of the phone, the warranty period, or the delivery number of days you take to deliver, or what are the other features the other brands have. So all these considerations. So here you should understand your target customer category. Maybe only you are addressing your target customers, or only elite customers, or only medium income group customers. So you have to know their expectations, their need, and address accordingly.
So this is the customer journey map. Why I am telling all these things is each area you have to read the pulse of the customer, need the needs of the customer, and then address that in the customer journey map. This is how you empathize. So the next slide. And once you empathize, you can define the problem. This is the requirement for the customer, and I am going to solve this. So that is defining the problem. And the third stage is ideating. So ideation is always should be solution oriented. If you keep on focusing on the problem, then you cannot find a solution. Okay, you should understand the problem and move towards the solution approach. And solution should be implemented. That is the action approach. So these two things should be in your mind always. You should be focusing on the solution. And for that only we are defining the user journey map, which is previously I have shown you the template. That template can be implemented for any of your assignments, like whatever projects you take to think, to innovate or come up with a new version, you can use a journey map. And you using the journey map only, you can arrive at patterns and anti-patterns, right? So patterns and anti-patterns are things like where you identify when a customer, same example, when a customer decides to buy a new phone, what is his pattern of research? What is his pattern of buying? That you have to know. And also parallelly, you should know the anti-patterns so that you eradicate that from your system, right? So those things you should identify, and you should have a clarity on the patterns and anti-patterns of your user. And you should challenge the assumptions. You should know, as I told, never assume. The customer, if comes to the Amazon and if he chooses your product and adds to the add to buy, it doesn't mean he is going to buy your product, right? Only after he checks out, he is buying your product. Then also it is not sure he will not be returning your product. So don't make assumptions that the sale is over. The sale is over. It's not. So you should not assume anything till it reaches a logical end. And also these assumptions will stop you from creating the ideas, right? So all these things till the logical conclusion, logical end appears, like you should be able to link your process through the ideas. So it will be like next step till the logical end is there. And derive a mind map. Mind map, you can see many templates because it's a very diverse thing. Mind map can be used for different variety of applications, starting from having a simple morning routine for yourself to having a bigger technology product updation. You can use mind map. Okay, so you can explore that. I would suggest you to explore that mind map for your day-to-day, even charting out a plan for your semester exam, studying that, or for your final year projects. You can use mind map. It's a wonderful tool actually. So you definitely go back and check that. Okay. So ideation phase, these are the things you have to do. Don't have any judgments. Okay, if you have a team, okay, he's very conservative. So he will always come up with the conservative ideas. He is not technologically sound, so he may not give ideas which will have latest technologies in it. So don't have such judgments. Okay, don't have such judgments. Have a neutral, clean slate thing and aim for quality and not quantity. As I said, less is more again. Okay, and encourage wild ideas. Maybe, as I said, the Tesla thing, it's a wild idea, right? How can a car be without driver? What, he's mad or what? Nothing. Now it has become true, right? So encourage wild ideas, never discourage them. Be open to ideas. Maybe it is like failure, but it's okay. Fail fast and forward fast. Yeah. So this is what I prototyping. So do it with a less investment, maybe zero investment also I would suggest. So come up with a prototype and start distributing it towards your end customers, like and get their reviews, make them use it, get their reviews, feedbacks, and like you can come up with the real-time inputs from the users, so that you can come up with the solutions and fine-tune your product more. You definitely, failing is unavoidable in any innovation, but you should fail fast, and progressively you have to go forward fast, right? You have to fail fast. Like, don't go, like, say, if you are not doing all these things and directly going to design an end product after putting so much investment, time, effort, human effort, all those things, and when the product goes to the market and it is a huge failure, then the loss will be huge, right? When you are failing in the initial stages itself, you know, like, where you are doing the wrong, and without any wastage of all these things, you will be able to fine tune your product. So always fail fast and also forward fast. That is the mantra you are going to have it in any creative things you are going to do. Yeah. So these are the certain application areas: retail industry, food packing industry, real estate, sports. It's a very huge area. Sports equipments and sport wares and all those things. There is a lot scope for design thinking. Education, again, and social and community challenges, packaging, travel industry. These are the industries, like even n number of industries. We cannot restrict that, but these are the main industries, like, who started adapting design thinking and implementing design thinking, at least in abroad. And now slowly, many of the schools and colleges in India also are adapting, happy to come out of the regular curriculum and regular like by hearting and writing the exams. They are coming out and giving this space to the students. So hopefully next 10 years, like, it will be even more acknowledged in Indian education. And here, like, it's all mind related. So you need some clear mind to generate new ideas. So have some physically fit, physically sound, and also mentally sound person you should be. And also you should be in a very open state, or very open state for expansive thinking. You should not think, as when you are seeing a product, you should not restrict yourself for certain, okay, this product is already been done, there is nothing to expand. No, you should not think like that. There will be always the expansion mode. So you should see every product in that mode, and creating thought clouds, like, always whenever you are thinking, jot it down in some areas, so that you can collect, collaborate, and come up with innovative products. So that's all, actually. So it's time to shoot your questions.
The participants can add their questions in the Q&A forum, and the expert will look into the questions and answer them as time permits. The questions can be put in the Q&A forum. Don't put it in the chat box, put it in the Q&A forum.
So somebody has asked how to become a design thinker. Say, apart from doing all these things, they are even now they are giving online courses from reputed universities, where you can enroll and academically get qualified as a design thinking expert. So this is the most happening on demand skills, one of the skills, and they pay you like anything if you are really like good innovator and all those things. And also in different fields, like biomedical field, and medical field also needs innovators, like. And also in the future, in the next 10 years, they say, like, the programmers, the IT product designers is not going to be only the engineers, also the people who know math and biology, they will be much on demand. So it's never restricted to only the technological thing. Even design thinking can be implemented in other fields like biology, math, and all those things. where you integrate with the technology and come up with the products. So they have special courses you can enroll, different budgets, different costs. So you should decide which level of knowledge you need. Based on that, you can take a basic course or advanced course. Based on that, cost also varies. And what should be our second preference, cost or technology? It's always the first preference, the center preference is user, but the second, third, fourth preferences always varies based on the project you handle. So it depends on maybe they will not have budget. So obviously you cannot adapt latest technologies. So it depends on the decision-making people, but any design thinking concept should be user-centric. Then only other things will be becoming valid or meaningful. What are the sites from where we can learn about design thinking? See, there are so many YouTube videos or free materials you can browse and learn. But what I would suggest, if you are going to take it up professionally, enroll in even Harvard and Stanford are giving courses. Udemy, you have lots of courses, basic courses and advanced courses, Coursera and all. So you can just explore yourself. And there are so many, I need not tell because you will be more expert. You guys are more expert in browsing, searching and shortlisting. Even I may not be knowing that, but you may be knowing. So just explore, keep exploring. Definitely whatever suits your needs, you can get enroll in that course. But I would suggest you to get, if you are very serious about this and if you want to take, enroll in some course. Suppose we create a product which can potentially be next gen. How do we make people adapt it? Because still people don't prefer change sometimes. Yeah, they will not. That are the challenges. They will not be readily accepting for it's not as I told I showed the videos, it was small change, but definitely people will not adapt to even Tesla is not accepted in certain countries now, right? Even leave that one. Even small changes is not Bitcoins, crypto coins is not accepted. But the blockchain concept is getting evolved. Blockchain concept is not getting restricted only crypto coins. When you learn blockchain, it can be implemented in various other concepts, right? Even if it is not going to, crypto is going to get banned in some countries or something not accepted. Now also India doesn't treat it as though it accepts, but India doesn't treat it as a valid thing where we can show it as income tax or whether we can take loans using that. No, nothing. It is not allowed, right? So obviously the restrictions initially will be there, definitely. But somebody should pioneer, right? Then only you will get the pioneering hat. So that will always be there and it will evolve. It will evolve. That I am not telling if you go and provide a solution, people will accept on the first stand itself, right? That is only we are doing all these steps, empathizing with the customer, what they need, just to randomly not delivering a product. We understand the customer needs. Okay, there is a demand, there is a need. So we are coming up with this product. So that is the first step. We cannot take it as a easily. We should put enough time in understanding the customer. Once we really understand the customer's needs and demands, then when we relevantly come up with a product, definitely it's going to be a hit, right? And then MSIRT, if you want to, when we see this, this I don't understand, can be implemented in MSRIT if we want to. When we see if this, there would be better. What is this? I cannot understand. The claim about 82% of the companies use design thinking is this certified, verified, and valid number. See, the survey when taken, yeah, it was, maybe now it would have got increased or decreased. Yeah, design thinking, say, every company, every product company have their own research labs, product innovation labs. They have a team for design thinking. All these people implement, keep on innovating. See, one fine day if Apple or any company or any brand announces that we are coming up with the next version, it's not a one-day story, right? They would have started 2 years back the innovation, the design thinking process. How you get all the latest gadgets, how you get all the latest automobiles, or how you get all the latest even kids accessories or the kids play items, the kids educational items, how you get all these things. Some design thinking was involved in the back end, right? So that's the 82% number is the survey. That's what the survey tells. But even we cannot show how much current it is. We are not sure about it.
You can just read all the questions and then choose maybe 1 or 2 questions to answer and close the session.
Yeah, sure. Suppose we create a product which can potentially be next gen. How do we make people adopt it? Yeah, you need to use the approach. There are so many tools. When you get deep into the design thinking courses, there will be just a basic session. But if you are interested, definitely there are so much of materials. Please go and explore. How will technology usage be defined as the second priority if it is not aligning with cost? Yeah, I'm not telling that is the second priority. Already I answered in another question. How to start a own startup? Startup, yeah, you should first have your business idea. Again, the same process. This is one of the process cycle which startups also follow, like empathizing and ideating and piloting. So these are the initial steps to have a startup, and don't invest much. That's what I would suggest. Everything, try to do it in a zero cost. It's very nowadays you can gain knowledge or experience on network using social media and get mentorships and all those things without having putting more cost. It's not like 10 years ago. So there are so many forums which help startups, and get involved. Peer networking is very important. Mentoring is very important, and validating your idea is very, very important. For that, you need some mentoring and industry experts to guide you. So before going all through all these things, don't invest much in the products. About not making assumptions, can't we make assumptions of the needs and hardships? No, you cannot. No, you cannot make assumptions. You should really understand, get into the field, do the survey, interviews, or whatever maybe, and get the real needs and hardships. You may assume something and the reality may be something else. What are the habits that we should develop to be a good designer? Like whether the user-centric mindset is enough. That is the major criteria, user-centric mindset. And also you keep seeing the you have an eye for invention. You have the eye for innovation, like how it can give a better. Whenever you go through a pain point, definitely you need a solution, right? So that is the way you evolve. Difference between thinking in user's perspective and people's perspective. No, user, I think he meant owners or manufacturers. Yeah, I can design. See, I have a budget, and I think people like most of the people like orange color phones, or I think most of the people will not buy Android phones which are above 20,000. Maybe I will think in my perspective, but the user perspective will be a different thing. So whatever, see, it was like an era, like before some 50 years back, whatever the business throws into the market, people used to buy. It may be grinders, wet grinders, mixies, or whatever it is, whatever the customer owner, the product owner, manufacturers throws into the market, we get those things and we just started using it, right? Now it has evolved, and people say, like in a wet grinder, I want a coconut scraper, I want a dough mixer, I want a like onion, all those things. So they are coming up with. So it's now this era is customer oriented. You cannot throw something in the market and expect the customer to buy. Now the customer have large variety of options, large exposure, and access to pan India manufacturers, right? Pan world. So whatever the customer demand, you have to design your product accordingly. Then only you can survive in the market. Being the owner perspective is gone. That era is no more. How can we boost the product of innovation? Using DT. Yeah, this was the whole session about, I believe, like whatever I told. So how boosting the product of innovation is like you're rolling out the product. Either You can proactively delight the customer. You can think to proactively delight your customer and come up with innovation in your products. Or already if you are having a product and customer is having a pain point, solve it. So that will happen only through the innovation. Design thinking is not only restricted, as I said, showed, like for the packaging, even for the product itself, not only the packaging, the product, the transportation. The Swiggy and Zomato, how they are just aggregators, right? They don't own hotels, they don't own restaurants, or they don't own anything. They just launched a marketplace where you can order from different restaurants, different kind of cuisines, right? Maybe they would have gone through a problem like, okay, fine. Initially, they were deliveries from the hotels itself before Swiggy times and all. And if we order online in any of the hotels, if we can call or order through their website, their delivery person will come and deliver. But now, but only we can either go for, if it is a South Indian hotel, we can go for South Indian food. If it is a Chinese hotel, we can go for Chinese food, right? But when if there is 4 people in a family and one wants to have Chinese and one wants to have South Indian, there was no option. They have to make 2 calls, order in 2 places, right? This was the problem identified by Swiggy, Zomato, and they came up and they said, we will give you a platform where you can order whatever you want, Chinese, Italian, Mexican, or whatever you want, South Indian, or whatever you want, you order from us. And we will go to all these restaurants, pick it for you and deliver it. This solves the problem on the other end also for the hotel people, because they were finding it difficult to find delivery boys to deliver. So now they also find it easy to just have one point of contact, Swiggy person, and make them deliver their products, right? So this was the pain point. There was no such thing, right? But as a customer, he would have felt one fine day, okay, I want to have South Indian food and my wife wants to have Italian. But how can we have, like, we cannot have both, right? We have to order from one restaurant. Why don't a solution for this doesn't exist? He came up with Swiggy, right? Swiggy was from Bengaluru initially, I believe. So this is the way. This is how you innovate. I think I gave relevant answers like for all your questions. But very happy that it was very interactive, and the students very awesome actually. Such a meaningful questions and very good questions. I appreciate it.
Can you just choose one question, ma'am, so that we can also motivate them?
It's really difficult. Why don't you have many dairy milks actually? Many good questions actually.
We thought one per session. So if you can just scroll through and just say which one is.
Okay, maybe sharing is caring. So you share the chocolate among yourself.
So if you could just name one.
So this one, suppose we create the product which can potentially be next gen, and because still people don't prefer change sometimes. That question was very good, and the last question also was very good.
So can we have
product of innovation using DT, that was, and also there was one more question. Is there any way to reduce cost of a product or service? Definitely. You can either reduce the cost of a product using design thinking, or even you can increase the price of the product giving the same, how by value adding, right? Without increasing the production cost. That is also. So
we'll take Sauhadra Sri Vastava, who asked the question of suppose we create a product that is potentially next gen and how to make people adopt it. So Sauhadra Sri Vatsava, if you can come to our department, which is 5th floor, Department of Electronics and Instrumentation, you can come collect your chocolate. So thank you, students, and thank you, ma'am, for the session. And we will close officially now. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, very nice. Thank you.